So Antoine Semenyo is Etihad bound. Before I get into this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe. It really helps me out. I'm a new creator and I'm trying to make my way in this scene. So firstly, there was interest from various clubs for Antoine Semenyo. He's been ripping it up in the league this season. Arsenal rang him up. He said, nah, you've got no European trophies. I'm not going there. Liverpool rang him up. He said, nah, you lot are a shambles. And when United rang him up, he just giggled and pressed decline. Can't really blame him. The word according to David Ornstein is that Semenyo wants to join the biggest sporting project in the country and he wants to win trophies, which clears up why he's not going to Arsenal. The player's release clause is set at 65 million. I think this is a fair deal for City. I'd probably value Semenyo at about 70 to 75 million, or even more in today's market, especially considering Savinho was valued at about 70 million. Also, Bristol City are going to massively benefit from this deal, because when they sold Semenyo to Bournemouth, they included a 20% sell-on clause, meaning any profit made by the player from Bournemouth, Bristol City would get 20% of that, which means the Robins are looking at about £13 million coming into their pocket from this deal, so it's a good bit of business from them, especially considering they sold him for 9 million. I think this deal says a lot about Semenyo and Man City. So number one, this doesn't need to be said, but it shows City's presence as a big club in the transfer market, with big players that are in high demand choosing Manchester City over other clubs like Liverpool and United. And secondly, it indicates the quality of Antoine Semenyo. So you might be thinking, how does Antoine Semenyo choosing City prove his quality? Well, City are one of the biggest clubs in Europe. Some of you rival fans need to come to terms with that now. City are one of the biggest clubs in Europe. At City, you don't just sign the contract and start every week. There's competition, there's rotation. Antoine Semenyo is going to be competing for a place in the team with the likes of Cherki, Foden, Marmoush, Doku. He's going to have to work hard for a place in the team, and make no mistake about it, Antoine Semenyo knows that. He is choosing the challenge himself. He could have gone to Arsenal or Liverpool and started every week, but he hasn't done that. So this decision by Semenyo to choose the difficult option oozes self-confidence. It shows that he knows he can get himself into this team and make himself the main man. So let's look at Semenyo's player profile and what he's going to add to Man City. Well, what do we know about him? Well, the last time he came to the Etihad, he got pocketed by Nunes, but we're going to overlook that for the sake of this video because Nunes has looked like prime Roberto Carlos this season. Antoine Semenyo is a 25-year-old muscly left winger, and he's also a Ghanaian international, meaning that he will be able to start for Man City as soon as he signs, because Ghana did not qualify for AFCON. He has a few tricks up his sleeve and can definitely beat a man not unlike Jeremy Doku, but he adds that extra bit of physicality, which offers something different than that of City's other wingers. So he's a kind of graceful brute. He's also an absolute bagsman with 8 goals in 16 games this season, alongside a little 3 assists sprinkled in there. I mean, that's pretty decent if you ask me. Any rival fan that was saying Man City are Haaland FC before Foden started bagging again this season can seriously eat their words when Semenyo starts sticking the ball in the onion bag for the Blues. But let's chill out for a second and have a little look at where this transfer could go wrong. Well, to start with, 65 million is a fair price tag, but is a lot of money that could have been put into other positions that are potentially weaker. We already have a strong left winger in Jeremy Doku, so for me, left wing wasn't really the priority here. You could have argued that City could have put that 65 million towards the likes of an Adam Wharton or an Elliot Anderson to strengthen the midfield and provide that extra bit of protection to the back four, or we could have put it towards the likes of a Mark Guehi, which would be a fantastic addition to the defence. He's a huge presence, a leader, he's quick, he's strong, he's good with his feet, and he would 100% compete with that centre-back spot ahead of the likes of Gvardiol, who I think has been a bit shaky this season. Guehi would be an unreal signing, but that's a video for another day. This doesn't mean we won't also strengthen in those positions or get those players. I would just have prioritised the midfield or the defence over the left winger or any attacking position really at the moment. I think our attacks looked really good this season. But what do I know? We probably needed to act quickly before he got snapped up by the likes of Liverpool or Arsenal. My second concern for this transfer, if I had to pick one, is can he make the step up? We've seen it countless times before where he plays the main man at a smaller club and he makes the step up and suddenly he's a small fish in a big sea and he can't quite compete with the other players. Jack Grealish, for example, he came from Aston Villa with a big price tag, but he did not meet the expectations that were set for him, apart from the treble-winning season where he absolutely balled out. More recently, Milos Kerkez has moved to Liverpool. This one's more similar to Semenyo in that he's moving from the same club, Bournemouth. But Kerkez was one of the best left-backs in the league last season, and when he joined Liverpool, he just shit himself, and since he joined, he's just been getting ripped week in, week out at left-back. So the step-up is undeniable, but if Antoine Semenyo can deal with the pressures of Man City, title contenders, Champions League football, working off the ball, defending as hard as you can attack, rotation, he will thrive under Pep Guardiola. I personally think he will be able to cope with the pressure. He's a well-established Premier League player. He's 25 years old, he's not just a little kid, he's coming into his prime years. He also just has an air of swagger and confidence about him that will strike fear into any defender that is coming up against him. So where does he fit in at Manchester City? Well, short term, if Doku's still injured when he signs, he's just going to slot in at the left wing position. But when Doku gets back to full fitness, I would personally like to see them both playing for City. I'm not sure whether Pep will go that direct. What front three that'd be though, Doku, Haaland and Semenyo. That's just frightening. Anyway, he's a versatile player, so he can occupy either flank, the left or the right. So Pep might play Doku on the left and Semenyo on the right, or vice versa, considering Doku can also play on the right. If we did play both of them together, Cherki might have to drop to the bench or back into the midfield, as he has been playing as a kind of right winger. Again, as a fan of football, I want to see Cherki playing as much as possible. If Pep was to play Doku, Semenyo, and then Cherki and Foden in the midfield, that might be a little bit too attacking for Pep Ball, and it might leave us a bit vulnerable at the back. Also, we'd have to leave out the likes of Reinders, who could be more physically imposing in the midfield than Cherki and Foden. And it also eliminates the option to play Nico G and Rodri together. That's if you don't want to drop Foden and Cherki, which no one wants to at the moment. They both look amazing. But luckily, I'm not head coach of Man City, and I don't have to deal with that problem, so good luck to Pep Guardiola trying to figure that one out. Mind you, it's not the worst problem to have. You could be looking like Manchester United, and that is a real hellhole. So if Pep decided to play just one of Doku or Semenyo, let's have a look at who he might choose. For me, Semenyo's just been more consistent the past couple seasons, and I really feel like that's what City squad needs at the moment, consistency. Goals and assists for Doku haven't been comparable to that of Semenyo's this season. Doku with 1 goal and 4 assists, I'm just looking at FootMob here. And Semenyo with 8 goals and 3 assists, as I mentioned before. So for me, they're not really comparable. Actually, Doku's played about 500 less minutes and he's 2 years younger, so maybe they are more comparable than I thought. But right now, I probably would go with Semenyo over Doku just because I think he's more consistent. But I actually do think Doku's got a higher ceiling. I think the talent and potential this guy has is through the roof. He just really needs to channel it and put together world-class performances more often, which he is perfectly capable of, like we saw against Liverpool this season. Overall, I'm absolutely made up with this transfer. I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. This is just because we probably could have focused more on other positions like the midfield or the defence. Or maybe an out-and-out right winger, as we don't really have an out-and-out right winger right now. We've just got like Semenyo there or Cherki, who's more of a 10. But listen, I'm not complaining one bit, and I'm really excited to see Semenyo in a Manchester City shirt. This transfer will undoubtedly increase City's hopes of a Premier League title, or dare I say it, a Champions League trophy. Thank you to everyone who watched this video to the very end. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, do the hype points, like I said at the start of the video. And everyone, please have an amazing Christmas, unless you're an Arsenal fan.